I never thought I'd end up in a courtroom staring down the barrel of my own family's lies. But there I was, sweat beading on my forehead like bullets in a chamber, while the judge's gavel hung in the air like a guillotine. Brinley, my ex-wife of 8 years, the woman I'd once sworn my soul to, sat across from me. Her lips curled in that practiced pout of victimhood, demanding every last dime I had scraped together from my dead-end mechanic's job in this rust-belt hellhole of Detroit. And the kicker? She swore our daughter, Lily, was mine, but the child support battle she'd dragged me into felt less like justice and more like a public hanging for sins I didn't commit. But that DNA test? It didn't just blow the lid off paternity, it unearthed a grave I'd buried deeper than my own regrets. One where I'd taken the fall for her. And now the devil herself was smiling as if she'd won. It started 6 months ago, on a muggy July afternoon that smelled like exhaust and broken dreams. I just clocked out at the garage, grease under my nails like war paint, when the summons hit my mailbox like a sucker punch. Petition for child support enforcement, it read, stamped with a Wayne County seal that might as well have been a Confederate flag for how it whipped up old wounds. Brinley and I had split 2 years prior. A nasty divorce fueled by her endless affairs and my endless overtime trying to keep the lights on. She'd walked away with the house in the suburbs, the SUV, and Lily, our 6-year-old firecracker with curls like Brinley's and eyes that could melt steel. I'd gotten visitation rights and a stack of alimony checks that left me crashing on my brother's couch in Hamtramck. I crumpled the paper in my fist. The kind of rage bubbling up that makes a man question if therapy's just code for weakness. But I wasn't about to let her bleed me dry. Not when I'd already given her everything, my youth, my trust, even my freedom. See, 10 years back. Before Lily, before the ring, Brinley and I were kids scraping by in a 1-bedroom walk-up off 8 Mile. She was a bartender at this dive called the Rusty Nail. All fire and flirtation, drawing in truckers and wannabe rappers like moths to a flame. I was the steady one, fixing cars by day and dreaming of opening my own shop. That's when the first betrayal slithered in, her side hustle with Tommy Voss, a sleazy real estate flipper twice her age who peddled investment properties that were really fronts for money laundering. I didn't know the details then, just caught whispers from the bar crowd. Saw the cash she started flashing for rent and takeout. One night, after too many shots of Jack, she confessed in tears. Tommy had her running envelopes. Small stuff. Nothing big. But it escalated. A deal went south, some Russian crew shorted him on a payoff, and suddenly, Tommy's goons were breathing down her neck. Brinley panicked, begged me to help. Just hold this for me, she said, shoving a duffel bag into my closet. It's not much. It'll blow over. It didn't blow over. Cops raided the place 2 weeks later, tipped off by who knows, Tommy's rivals. Maybe. Or his own paranoia. They found the bag, $150,000 in unmarked bills, traced to a string of foreclosed homes Tommy had flipped into ghost properties for laundering cartel cash. Brinley played the scared girlfriend card, swore she had no idea, that I'd stashed it without telling her. Me? I took the plea deal, 5 years probation, a felony record that killed my shot at any bank loan for that shop dream, and a lifetime scarlet letter that made every job interview feel like a parole hearing. I did it for her. For us. Said it was my side gig. That I'd found the cash in a junked Impala. She walked free, got a slap on the wrist for involuntary involvement, and we moved on. Or so I thought. Lily came along a year later, a surprise that glued the cracks. Or at least paper them over. But the resentment festered in me like engine rust. Quiet and corrosive. Brinley climbed the ladder, landed a realtor gig through Tommy's connections. Bought that McMansion in Grosse Pointe while I slaved away under fluorescent shop lights.
Now,
here she was, leveraging that old felony to paint me as the deadbeat dad in court. Your Honor, her lawyer drawled, all Southern charm in a Michigan suit. Mr. Harlan has a history of criminal instability. How can we trust he'll provide for Lily? Harlan, that's me. Jack Harlan, 38 going on ancient, with calluses like armor plating. I gripped the table, knuckles white, as the judge nodded sympathetically at Brinley's crocodile tears. She looked every bit the wronged soccer mom, blonde highlights framing a face that could sell ice to Eskimos. Pencil skirt hugging curves she'd weaponized since high school. But I had one card left, the DNA test. Brinley had pushed for it during the divorce, swearing Lily was mine to lock in the support. I'd signed off.
Too broke to fight.
Results came back positive then, no red flags. Yet something gnawed at me. Lily's eyes weren't just like Brinley's, they had that sharp, predatory glint Tommy Voss always had in photos I'd glimpsed over the years. Tommy, who still lurked in Brinley's orbit, flipping properties and whispering in her ear like a bad habit she couldn't kick. I hired a PI on credit. A grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz who chain-smoked camels and charged by the suspicion. Dig deep, Jack, he rasped over greasy diner coffee. Women like her? They bury bodies in backyards. 2 weeks later, he slid a manila envelope across the booth. Grainy photos of Brinley and Tommy, entangled in a motel off Telegraph Road, time-stamped 9 months before Lily's birth. The math didn't lie. But Ruiz had more, hacked emails, voice memos where Brinley laughed about stringing Jack along for the payout, and the kicker, forged documents from the original DNA lab, signatures that matched Tommy's crooked lawyer. The courtroom air thickened as I slapped the new test results on the counsel table, my voice cracking like thunder in the sterile hush. Your Honor, this isn't just about support. It's about fraud. The kid. Lily. She's not mine. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Brinley's sister. My brother. A cluster of bored reporters sniffing for clickbait. Brinley's face drained to chalk. But she recovered fast, hissing at her lawyer. Counter it. Say it's tampered. The judge peered over her glasses, the report trembling in her hands. Mr. Harlan, this is unprecedented. We'll adjourn for verification. Adjournment my ass, it was a bomb. And the shrapnel was just starting to fly. As deputies ushered us out, Brinley locked eyes with me, that pout twisting into something feral. You think this ends it? Jack, you have no idea what you've unleashed. She was right. I had no idea. But as I stepped into the Detroit drizzle, the weight of that duffel bag from a decade ago lifted just a fraction. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a demolition derby. And I just keyed her ignition. That night, holed up in my brother's spare room that smelled like stale beer and regret, I pored over Ruiz's files by the glow of a desk lamp. The betrayal cut deeper than the money grab. Brinley hadn't just cuckolded me, she'd orchestrated the whole damn symphony. Those emails? They detailed how she'd planted the cash, tipped the cops anonymously to shield Tommy, then played the damsel to reel me into the frame job. Jack's too loyal to flip, she'd written to Tommy. He'll eat the charge, and we'll ride off into the sunset. Loyal. The word tasted like battery acid. And Lily, God. Lily. The photos showed her now. 7 years old. posing with Tommy at a Tigers game, his arms slung casual around her shoulders like a proud pop. My gut twisted. I'd changed her diapers, cheered her first steps, wiped snot from her nose during flu seasons, all while Brinley spun her web, using me as the fall guy to keep her hands clean. The felony? It wasn't just a record. It tanked my credit, scared off investors, left me flipping wrenches while Tommy's empire ballooned into luxury condos on the riverfront. I slammed the laptop shut, heart pounding like AV8 at Redline. Sleep? Forget it. Instead, I mapped it out on a yellow legal pad. Step 1. Expose the fraud in court. Step 2. Sue for defamation and emotional distress. Step 3.
Well,
Step 3 was where the darkness crept in. Tommy Voss wasn't untouchable. Ruiz had dirt, tax evasions, bribes to city inspectors, even whispers of a cold case tied to a missing bookkeeper who'd crossed him. Brinley was his queen, but queens fall when the king's castle crumbles. By dawn, the plan solidified, ugly and unyielding as Detroit asphalt. I'd start small, leak the affair to her realtor buddies, watch her commissions dry up, then hit Tommy where it hurt, his money. But as coffee burned my throat, doubt wormed in. Was this justice or just spite? Lily's face flashed in my mind, innocent in a world of vipers. If I torched Brinley's life, what embers would scorch the kid? The adjournment lasted a week. 7 days of radio silence from Brinley's camp and harassing calls from reporters who'd caught wind. Harlan, is it true? Paternity bombshell in family court. I dodged them all, holing up at the garage, torque-wrenching engines like therapy. My boss, old man Kowalski, clapped my shoulder with a meaty paw. Jacko, life's a junkyard. You salvage what you can. Salvage.
yeah.
That's what I do. Court reconvened on a Friday, the gallery swollen with gawkers and a local news crew that made the benches creak. Brinley arrived flanked by Tommy, first time I'd seen the bastard up close in years.
He was paunchier.
Silver threading his temples, but that shark smile hadn't dulled. He didn't look at me, just nodded to her lawyer like they owned the joint. Which,
In a way,
they did. Power bought silence in this town. The judge cleared her throat. The verified DNA report sealed in plastic like evidence from a murder scene. Results confirm. The child is not Mr. Harlan's biological daughter. Petition denied. With prejudice. The words landed like a checkered flag. Brinley's gasp was theatrical. Hand fluttering to her pearls, fake ones, Tommy's taste. But her eyes? They bored into me, promising payback. As the gavel fell, Tommy leaned in, murmuring something that made her nod. Then he turned, finally meeting my gaze. Harlan, he drawled, voice like oil on water. Should have stayed in your lane. My lane? I'd been driving her detours for a decade. Tell that to the rear view. Voss. The bailiff separated us before fists flew. But the seed was planted. That night, anonymous tips hit the IRS hotline and the Detroit Free Press tip line, Tommy's shell companies, Brinley's kickbacks. Small fires. But they'd spread. Little did I know, Brinley had her own accelerant ready. The leaks hit like a nor'easter off Lake St.
Claire,
whipping up scandals that buried the paternity story under headlines screaming, real estate mogul's money laundering ring exposed. Brinley's phone blew up with clients canceling open houses. Her Facebook frozen with passive-aggressive comments from PDA moms who'd once envied her Pinterest perfect life. Tommy, ever the operator, went radio silent, holing up in his lakeside mansion while lawyers swarmed like locusts.
Me?
I savored the schadenfreude from afar, nursing a Pabst at a dive bar where the jukebox still spun Motown ghosts. But revenge is a two-way street, potholed and unforgiving. 3 days post-court, Ruiz called, voice gravelly, with urgency. Jack. Heads up, Brinley's lawyering up against you. Defamation suit. Big one. And she's got dirt. Real dirt. My stomach dropped faster than a 72 Plymouth, with bad brakes.
Dirt?
I'd handed her the shovel years ago. That night, over burner phones in his cluttered office smelling of ink and instant noodles, Ruiz laid it out. Brinley had flipped the script, alleging I'd fabricated the DNA results out of spite. Worse, she'd unearthed my old plea deal, twisting it into a narrative of me as the vengeful ex-con stalking her innocent family. She's painting you as the monster.
Jack.
Tommy's bankrolling it, private investigators tailing you, digging into your finances, even chatting up your ex-girlfriends from high school. I laughed, bitter as black coffee. Ex-girlfriends? The only one who'd talk was Marla, who'd dump me for a Lions linebacker. But even she wouldn't touch this mud. Still, the harassment ramped up, slashed tires at the garage, anonymous texts, back off or Lily pays, voicemails from blocked numbers hissing threats in Brinley's honeyed timbre. I should have seen the flip coming. Brinley was a chameleon, shedding skins faster than a snake in summer heat. One day the tearful victim, the next the Ice Queen Avenger.
It was her superpower.
Honed in those bar nights, slinging drinks and secrets. But this was personal warfare. And she fought dirty. A week in, the defamation suit dropped, $500,000 demanded, plus injunction barring me from Lily. The press ate it up. Paternity fraud or fabricated fury. Ex-husband accused of harassment. My brother, ever the voice of reason, cornered me in the kitchen, his tiger's mug steaming. Jack. This is spiraling. Walk away. For Lily, walk away? After she'd dragged my name through the courts like roadkill?
No.
I doubled down, feeding Ruiz more ammo. Wire transfers from Tommy's accounts to Brinley's, disguised as consulting fees. We traced them to offshore shells in the Caymans, the kind that screamed IRS audit. But as the noose tightened, so did hers. Late one shift, as I locked up the garage, headlights pinned me like a deer. A black Escalade idled curbside, tinted windows rolling down to reveal Tommy's enforcer. A brick wall named Gino with a neck tattoo of a coiled ASP. Mr. Voss sends regards, Gino grunted, tossing a USB drive at my feet. It skittered across oil-slicked concrete, glinting under sodium lamps. Watch it. Then decide if you want to keep breathing. I waited till he peeled out before plugging it in at home, heart hammering. The video was grainy, time-stamped from our early days, me, wild-eyed and desperate, counting stacks from that duffel in our old apartment. Brinley's voice off camera. Coaching. Say it for the lens.
Jack.
It's yours. Protects us both. I'd forgotten, or buried, the insurance policy she'd forced. A confession on tape to shield her if things went south.
Now.
It was her Excalibur. Proof I'd admitted to the laundering, making her the duped partner all over again. Son of a bitch. She'd played me from jump, burying the tape like a landmine for this exact moment. Rage boiled over. I smashed the laptop screen, shards embedding in my palm like stigmata. Blood dripped onto the carpet as realization sank in. This wasn't just betrayal, It was a masterpiece of manipulation. Brinley hadn't flipped faces, she'd worn multiples, layering lies like varnish on cheap wood. And Tommy? He was the puppeteer, pulling strings while she danced the distraction. I needed leverage. Real nuclear-grade stuff. Ruiz suggested going legit. FBI tip line for the laundering ring, but that'd drag Lily into federal spotlights. Social services, sniffing around.
No.
This stayed personal. A street fight in broad daylight. I started with the social scalpel. Anonymous posts on realtor forums, detailing Brinley's ethical lapses with client funds, backed by redacted bank statements. Her listings tanked. Whispers spread at country club brunches she once lorded over. Then, the economic gut punch. I called in favors from old shop buddies. Mechanics who'd serviced Tommy's fleet of Beamers. Accidental brake failures. Unexplained transmission slips, nothing traceable. Just enough to bleed his wallet on repairs. Brinley retaliated swift. My court date for the countersuit loomed. But first, a hearing for the injunction. She took the stand, voice quivering like a Lifetime movie heroine. Jack's obsessed. Your Honor. Showing up at Lily's school. Leaving voicemails. He's unhinged. Lies. Everyone. I hadn't seen Lily since the divorce. Per her orders. But the judge, a stern woman with a no-nonsense bob, eyed me like fresh meat. Evidence. Emis. Voss. Wait, Voss? Brinley's maiden name was Harlan, no. She'd reverted to Voss post-divorce? Tommy's name. The gallery murmured. It was the first public crack in her facade. Her lawyer stammered, but the damage stuck. Adjournment again. But now the narrative shifted. Not just scorned ex, but entangled lovers weaponizing a child. Reporters swarmed the steps. Mics thrusting like bayonets. MS. Voss. Is Tommy the father? Brinley bolted. Heels clicking fury. But I caught her eye one last time. Truth hurts. Doesn't it? Bryn, that weekend. The storm broke. Tommy's empire cracked under scrutiny. An audit subpoena hit his doorstep. Courtesy of my IRS whispers. He lashed out. Gino cornering me in a Meijer parking lot at dusk. Rain sheeting the lot like tears. Last warning.
Harlan.
Drop it. Or we bury you deeper than that plea. I faced him down. Rain mixing with the blood from my cut hand. Bury me? You already did. Time to dig up the bodies. He swung, I ducked, countering with a haymaker that split his lip. Security broke it up, but the bruises bloomed like badges. Back home, nursing ice to my jaw, I hatched the big play. Confront Brinley alone. Force a confession on record. Ruiz rigged a nanny cam in a neutral spot, a coffee shop in Ferndale. Hipster haven with exposed brick and pour-overs. She showed. 10 minutes late. Designer shades masking red-rimmed eyes. What do you want? Jack? To gloat. I slid a fresh printout across the table. New DNA not just for Lily, but a familial match tying her to Tommy's brother. Dead from an OD years back. The truth. All of it. Or this hits every news van from here to Chicago. She laughed.
Hollow.
Truth? You want truth?
Fine.
Lily's Tommy's. Always was.
But you.
You were useful. The fall guy. The provider. The patsy. Without you eating that charge, we'd have nothing. Her words sliced. But I held steady. The camera whirring silent. And the tape? Blackmail now. She leaned in, breath minty with desperation. Survival.
Jack.
You think Tommy's clean? He's neck deep. But you poke him. Lily's the one who starves. Classic flip. Mother bear 1 second. Co-conspirator, the next. I pressed. Confess. On tape. End this. She did. In fragments, the setup, the raid, the laughs with Tommy over my heroics. It was gold. But as she spoke, something shifted in her eyes. Regret? Or calculation? I loved you. Once, she whispered. Before the money. Before him. Lies. Maybe. But they stung like truth. We parted uneasy allies. Or so I thought. That night, as I uploaded the confession to a secure drive, sirens wailed distant. My phone buzzed. Ruiz. Jack. Abort. Tommy's goons hit my place. Files gone. Panic surged. The real war was just revving up. The fire at Ruiz's office was ruled arson. Gasoline through the mail slot. Flames gutting file cabinets and frying hard drives like bacon in a skillet.
No casualties.
Thank Christ. But the PI was spooked, packing heat and paranoia for a vacation to his cousins in Toledo. Lay low, Jack, he growled over a staticky line. These ain't choir boys.
Low?
In a city where every corner hummed with Voss influence, low was a luxury for tourists. I barricaded myself in the garage after hours, welding torch hissing like a cornered rattler, fortifying a back office into a bunker stocked with energy drinks and burner phones. Brinley's confession tape? I'd offloaded a copy to a cloud vault under a fake name. But paranoia gnawed. Was it clean? Or had she slipped a tracker? Her flip artistry peaked that week. She filed a restraining order citing the Meyer brawl as escalating violence, plastering my mugshot from the old plea across tabloids. Ex-con terrorizes family, blared the Free Press, complete with a tearful Brinley clutching Lily at a safe house. The kid looked shell-shocked. Curls matted, eyes darting like she sensed the storm. My fault? Hers? The blame blurred. A Rorschach test for fractured loyalties. Tommy escalated too, his moxie unchecked by the audit. A warning arrived via courier, Polaroids of my brother's house, my garage, even the elementary school Lily attended. Innocent shots. But the subtext screamed anyone, anytime. I confronted Brinley via text, burner to burner, call off the dogs, or the tape drops. Her reply, you started this war. End it. Or Lily's collateral, cold calculus. The kind that turns love to leverage. But beneath it, cracks a follow-up. Meet me. Neutral ground. For her sake. Neutral ground was Belle Isle. The island park straddling Detroit and Windsor, where freighters ghosted the horizon like specters. Dusk painted the sky bruise purple as I parked the F-150 near the Scott Fountain, its stone lions frozen mid-roar. Brinley waited on a bench. Alone, no Tommy. No Gino, just her in jeans and a hoodie, stripped of armor. She looked smaller, the diva facade chipped. Jack, she started, voice raw. This has to stop. Tommy's losing it, threatening to skip town. Take Lily. I can't. I won't let that happen. Sympathy flickered. Traitorous. Then make it stop. Confess publicly. The laundering, the frame, all of it. She shook her head, tears carving tracks. You don't get it. Tommy's not just a mark, he's the father she knows. You were. Convenient. Flip again from viper to victim. Pleading maternal instinct. But her eyes darted to the trilene. and instinct screamed set up. I bolted as tires crunched gravel, an unmarked van. Gino at the wheel. I sprinted for the truck, engine roaring to life as bullets pinged the tailgate, suppressors muffling the pops like angry hornets. Rubber burned pavement back to the mainland, heart slamming like a jackhammer. Cops? Useless. Vast donations greased more palms than a blackjack dealer. I ditched the truck in an alley off Gresham, hoofed it to a payphone that still worked miracles.
Ruiz.
Patched in from Ohio. Feds.
Jack.
That's your play now.
No.
Feds meant spotlights on Lily. Foster care roulette. This stayed vigilante. A ghost in the machine. The climax brewed over the next fortnight. A pressure cooker of leaks and lies. I doxed Tommy's donors, politicos and pastors who'd funneled cash through his PACs, watching empires teeter as scandals erupted. Brinley's realty license hung by ethics complaints. She countered with a smear campaign. Anonymous sources claiming I'd molested Lily during visits. Bullshit. Investigated and dropped. But the stain stuck. Whispers at my brother's barbecue turning to stares. We clashed at Lily's school open house, me lurking in the shadows. Her sweeping in like royalty. Our eyes met across the gym, balloon arches mocking the tension. Please, she mouthed. Lily tugging her hand, oblivious. I turned away, but not before seeing the fracture. Brinley's mask slipping, revealing a woman drowning in her own schemes. That night, she broke radio silence. A voicemail trembling. Jack. Tommy skipping. Taking her to Florida. I need your help one last time. Help. After the van? But the hook sank deep, Lily. I met her at the Rusty Nail. Ghosts of our youth haunting the neon glow. Tommy was gone.
She swore.
Assets liquidated overnight. He flipped on me, said I'd make a better scapegoat. Her laugh was shattered glass. Poetic.
Huh.
Like I did you. Confession poured, the full saga. From the first envelope to the forged DNA. Tommy's cold case, the bookkeeper? Not OD. But assisted after skimming. Brinley knew. Covered it. Her loyalty bought with diamonds and deeds. Why tell me now? I pressed. Recorder hidden in my jacket. She drained her whiskey, eyes hollow. Because you're the only one who ever really cared. And I'm tired.
Jack.
Tired of flipping. Vulnerability. Or virtuoso acting. The line blurred as she slid a flash drive across the scarred bar top. His ledgers. Burn us both. Or walk. I took it. The weight atomic. Revenge's apex. Upload and watch them crumble. Or mercy for Lily's sake. We talked till last call. Dredging the marriage's marrow. Nights I'd held her through miscarriages before Lily. Days she'd fake smiles at my shop openings. We were good. Once, she murmured. Before the greed. I nodded. Throat tight. But as I left, Gino's shadow loomed in the lot. Tommy hadn't fled, he'd baited. The fight was brutal. No holds barred. Gino charged. Fists like hams. I countered with a tire iron from the truck, cracking ribs. Brinley screamed from the doorway. Stop. Enough. But Tommy emerged, pistol glinting. Endgame. Harlan. The shot echoed, grazing my shoulder, fire-lancing bone. I lunged, tackling him into gravel, the gun skittering. Brinley grabbed it, hesitating, world tilting on her choice. She fired, not at me,
but the sky.
Go, she snarled at Tommy. You're done. He scrambled up, fleeing into the night. but not before hissing. You'll regret this. Bryn. Sirens wailed distant. She dropped the gun, hands shaking.
Run, Jack.
I'll handle the rest. I staggered to the truck, blood-soaking flannel, the flash drive burning in my pocket. Mercy or madness? The decision tore me, splitting the soul down fault lines. Dawn broke bloody over the Detroit River, painting the water in hues of rust and redemption as I patched my shoulder with a field kit from the truck's glove box, duct tape and whiskey. The working man's sutures. The flash drive mocked me from the dash. Tommy's digital sins encrypted in spreadsheets that could topple mayors and mobsters alike. Brinley's final flip, shooting the sky, choosing me over him, hung like smoke, ambiguous as a plea bargain. Was it absolution? Or the ultimate con? Buying time to spin a new tale? I drove aimless. FM radio crackling with rush-hour traffic reports and a teaser for the Voss scandal. Fugitive realtor on the run after audit bombshell. Good. Let the hounds chase him south. But Lily's face haunted the rearview. Her curls a noose around my neck. Father? Not by blood, but by every bedtime story and scraped knee. Destroying Brinley meant orphaning her in chaos. A pawn in our chessboard apocalypse. Yet sparing them? That was swallowing the hook, letting betrayal fester into cancer. Ruiz called from Toledo. Voice a chainsaw rasp. Feds are circling.
Jack. Chip in the drive.
Wash your hands. Tempting. But I'd be the snitch. The guy who'd ratted for a reduced sentence once before.
No.
This ended on my terms. In the gray zone where right and wrong blurred like city lights in acid rain. I holed up at an off-grid cabin my old man left me up in the thumb. Pinnabog nowhere. Surrounded by cornfields and coyote howls. There, by lantern light, I decrypted the files. Ledgers detailing kickbacks to councilmen. Payoffs to cops. Even a slush fund for discreet relocations, code for the bookkeeper's vanishing act. Brinley texted untraceable number, he's gone. Lily's safe. Upload it. Free us. Free us? The words ignited Fury's afterburner. I drafted the leak. Anonymized dumps to WikiLeaks mirrors. ProPublica inboxes. Even a dark web forum for Voss watchers. But before hitting send, doubt ambushed. Visions of Lily in court. Social workers prying her from Brinley's arms. Controversial calculus. Was vengeance worth the collateral? The drive stayed dormant. A grenade unpinned. She found me 3 days in, crunching gravel up the drive in a rental Civic. Lily buckled in back. Thumb in mouth like regression's cruel joke. Jack, Brinley called, stepping out cautious. Hands raised like parley. Lily lit up. Daddy, barreling into my legs. Small arms vice-tight. I froze. The word a gut punch. Brinley hovered, gaunt in the doorway. No makeup masking the hollows. We need to talk. Please. Inside. Over lukewarm Folgers. The truth unspooled. Not flips. But folds in her facade. Tommy had groomed her young. Post-high school. Promising the world for dirty work. The duffel? His test, my fall. Her escape. But Lily changed equations. She'd stayed for stability. My stability. Even as resentment rotted the roots. I hated you for taking the hit, she admitted. Voice splintering. But I loved you for it too. Twisted. I know. Lily doodled at the table. Oblivious. Her crayons a rainbow counterpoint to our monochrome mess. Why now? I pressed. Suspicion a shield. Tommy's empire's toast. Audits federal. He called from Miami, said you're the leak. That I'll testify against you to cut a deal. Her eyes welled. Let him. I'm done running. But Lily. She needs a father. Blood or not. The offer dangled. Co-parent truce. Joint custody. Bury the drive and the past. Controversial as hell. Team up with the betrayer. Forgive the unforgivable? Readers would split. Sucker or saint. I waited. The cabin creaking like judgment. Lily's giggles sealed it. Innocence's veto power. One condition, I said. Full confession.
Public.
No more masks. She nodded. Stealing. We drove back at dusk. Lily asleep in the booster. The river a silver thread below. Brinley's presser hit the 6 o'clock news from a WDIV studio, poised but penitent, detailing the laundering. The frame. Tommy's shadows. I was complicit, she said. Voice steady. Jack Harlan saved me once.
Now.
I return the favor. No mention of Lily's paternity. That stayed our secret. A mercy kill for the kid. The fallout cascaded. Tommy nabbed at a Keys airstrip. Cuffed and snarling on CNN. Brinley's license revoked. But she pivoted, victim's advocate gig. Trading schmooze for sincerity. Skeptics called it PR. I saw flickers of real. Charges loomed for her too. Accessory rap, but she cut the deal. Probation mirroring mine. Irony's bitter wink.
Me?
The garage thrived sans sabotage. Old man Kowalski retiring keys to the shop. Lily split weeks. Her two dads, narrative a kindergarten fable.
But the twist?
Months later, Ruiz dropped a bombshell. The original DNA? Falsified not by Brinley.
But me.
Wait, no. In the raid's chaos, I'd swapped samples subconsciously. Intuition screaming doubt even then. Lab techs confirmed, Lily was mine. Biologically. Tommy's fling? A decoy. His ego's smokescreen. The revelation shattered everything. Brinley's confession, a house of cards. Her flips, perhaps genuine remorse masked by my own buried lie. I confronted her over diner pie. Rain lashing windows. Why didn't you tell? She shrugged, eyes twinkling mischief. Twist the knife? Or give you purpose? Debate fodder. Was I the betrayed? Or the betrayer? Projecting sins onto her? We laughed. Hollow. As lightning cracked. Lily, our Lily, waited at home. The real anchor. A happy ending? Tragic farce? You decide. In Detroit's grind, truth's just another bent fender, fixable. If you pay the toll,